going on, Jerome's? So there was a lot of hype around the Netflix docuseries Quarterback that dropped on Wednesday, covering the 2022 season of Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Jerome, Ezekiel Cousins, as well as Marcus Mariota. But I don't know, like the movie poster doesn't tell the whole story. It's much better. For my guy Eli Corbett, certified Jerome, what up? So I know some people are already through the series. Like, I'm recording this on Wednesday night, so they just binged all Wednesday. But I'm actually kind of savoring this. And the wife is actually watching, and she's interested. Well, she doesn't care about the Vikings. Me walking upstairs after the game, after the show, is like, did we win? That whole thing. But she's very intrigued. And I feel like you don't have to be a sports fan. You don't have to be an NFL fan to really enjoy this documentary, because it does get into their lives. It really more is, I mean, the essence of documentaries is a story. It is people. And this really is more about people. It's like, documentaries that you love, think about it. It's like, are you really into thing X, Y, Z? Are you really into space exploration? Are you really into, crab fishermen? Deadliest Catch style? No. Or are you really into people that hoard? No. But reality TV and documentaries and docuseries are really intriguing because it comes down to the people. The people are what's fascinating. And, like I said, I mean, Kirk Cousins, he's an interesting dude. And I think that this series will appeal to non-football fans and especially football fans, because it gets really into the nitty-gritty behind-the-scenes stuff. And it is really awesome, man. You do get a sense about how Kirk is valued by his teammates, and flows with Kevin O'Connell and him on game day. I mean, full disclosure, I've only seen one episode. I know that there's a controversial moment that we'll probably get into during the Bills game, where Kirk apparently called the quarterback sneak on fourth down on his onesies. But we'll get into it. But we have a handful of takeaways from episode 1 that we wanted to share. And first one. So it's so funny. So you're installing this state-of-the-art offense with Kevin O'Connell and Kirk Cousins, and Kirk is at practice. They're going over the audible calls, and it's literally like Halo and sombrero. And he's very concerned that in the game that he's going to call Halo, but people he's concerned that the receivers are going to see sombrero. So they literally spend practice time dedicated to the pantomimes of Halo and sombrero, as well as saber. He talks about like Star Wars and lightsabers and stuff, and you just see like the receivers and like Thielen looking at him like, huh? Okay. Also, he dropped a Margaret Thatcher quote, which I don't know if you were wagering that one of the quarterbacks was going to drop a Margaret Thatcher quote during Netflix this docuseries, probably bet the under. But I don't have it in front of me, but it's paraphrased. It's if I was walking on water, my critics would say it's because I can't swim. And this really bleeds into, like, Kirk does hear the rumblings. Like, he fully understands that people see him as a regular season, only at noon, stat-stuffing quarterback who's never won anything. Like, he hears that. And I think that some of the Kirk Cousins criticism over the years has been fair. I think a lot of it has been unfair. And I think a lot of it just flows into inertia. And it's just I think there's a lot of momentum in the perception from the national media to ruin haircuts, as well as the perception from fans, where it's like, why do we hate Kirk Cousins? Oh, because we hated him when he first got here to Minnesota, and we hated him back at Washington. That whole thing, where people don't realize, since probably the bye week of 2020, Kirk has played some really inspired football. And I think last year, even though black and white statistics maybe wasn't his best season, I think that it was the best season of his career. And also, Kevin O'Connell having his back, KOC talking about narratives and false narratives and stuff. And it's good to have someone like that in your corner. And, Kevin O'Connell, I mean, he's been in Kirk Cousins' shoes to a degree. He's been an NFL quarterback. He's been, he was a third-round pick. He was actually drafted higher than Kirk, who was a fourth-rounder in 2012. And like Kevin O'Connell, like he understands what it's like to be an NFL quarterback. He understands, the media as well, and how it does sway the opinions of casual fans of Tom, Dick, and Harry's in the world. And also, and then it got into his home life. First off, I want to say Kirk Cousins definitely seems like a legitimately good dude and like a good father, good husband, all that stuff, and that's very commendable. And it got into Shirtgate. So before Kirk O'Chains, before Kirk Thuggins, it was the Week 1 Cole's Cash shirt. And we got down to it, and apparently Kirk revealed it was a Patagonia shirt. Yeah, on the Dan Patrick Show, which is kind of funny, but, of course. Yeah. Also, his wife Julie seems cool as heck. I mean, maybe she's a little corny, just like Kirk, but you can tell why they get along so well. But yeah, it just seems like a really awesome, fantastic family. I will say, so I'm not going to talk a lot about Mariota or Mahomes because I don't really care, but you can tell that Brittany Mahomes definitely likes the spotlight. She definitely likes being the significant other of the best quarterback in the league. Right. And also, I want to know if like Jackson Mahomes was in any of this footage and then they had to go back and cut him out. I don't know. Anyways, I'm glad that Kirk doesn't have to deal with that or like entourage stuff, which actually Kirk having an entourage would be low-key hilarious, man. But also, if you listen carefully when they're talking about his Washington days and the whole, you like that? You like that? There's a You Like That song. Like they played it over the video. It was hilarious, man. Also, they get into Kirk Cousins' van and him. It's almost like he was tailor-made in a lab just to be like a goofball and a doofus. But, I mean, he's our goofball and doofus. Like, what can you say? Then it gets into the Eagles game disaster. And it actually got into Kirk learning the offense and not being 100% comfortable at the start in terms of audibling, like when he sensed trouble and, checking out of that. And, yeah, it did. I mean, it did. It was a near run thing for like 2 seconds, but Kirk, having to force the ball downfield, throwing a couple interceptions, just trying to force the ball to JJ and Darius Slay making plays, it just didn't work. And then it got into, so Kirk meeting with the team psychologist. I believe his name was Dr. Mack. And I think that's really important. I think most NFL teams, I think most professional sports teams, they understand, and a lot of them employ full-time mental health professionals. And I mean, I understand that we're only like a couple years, a couple decades removed from, it's like, oh, you got to be tough, you got to suck it up and all that stuff. But I mean, at the end of the day, and I think what documentaries like this show is that, I mean, professional athletes are human just like you, me, and everyone else. And they have problems too. They have feelings and they have emotions. And I mean, the problems that we have, think about the problems you have in your life. A professional athlete has the same thing, as well as tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of people, both in live and online, just booing them and dissecting and nitpicking and Monday morning quarterbacking every single one of their moves. So the fact that, Kirk, it shows Kirk talking to him about the Eagles game, and also, Kirk mentions that he's seen psychologists before, and I think that's good. And as someone who's done therapy and regularly still sees a therapist, I think it is good just to be able, not like, so I think therapy gets a bad rap, going into, because not all therapy is like digging deep into like your childhood or past traumas of your life or things like that. Now it is those things, but a lot of times it's just learning to talk out your problems or talk out your issues before they become larger things, or trying to find the meaning in things, or trying to decipher, is this worth the mental bandwidth? Is this not worth the mental bandwidth? Is this worth fighting for? Is this not worth fighting for? And just being able to talk things out. And sometimes it's just someone to listen, and sometimes it's someone to bounce back exactly what you're saying so that you hear it. And sometimes you don't listen to yourself, but sometimes you do listen to someone else. So anyways, that's a little bit of a tangent, but it is good to see, and I'm glad that the Vikings do put a premium on their mental health of their players, because that is important. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, they're humans. I mean, they're just people just like you and me. And also, teammates love Kirk. I mean, I feel like Kirk's almost like the dorky mascot, and that does certainly come across. Plus, I mean, Kirk gets obsessed over small things. So he missed a throw to KJ on the first drive against the Lions. Now they still ended up scoring a touchdown. Dalva ran it in. Kevin O'Connell called the fourth down conversion, and they converted to Thielen. But even at the end of the game, even through like days later, he was still thinking about that one throw to KJ. And that's the whole thing. It's like people poo-poo on Kirk Cousins because of the 4th and 8 play. Don't you think that Kirk has been beating himself up over that a bajillion times more than you think? Like, what could I have done different? What could we have done different on 3rd down? What if I checked it to a different play? What if I had just chucked it up to JJ? What if I had done this? What if I had tried to run? What if I had done that whole thing? So, yeah, I mean, Kirk is very aware. I think Kirk is very aware of what is said about him in the media, what is said about him by the fans, and I do think that he takes it to heart. And I don't think that he is this aloof money vacuuming up quarterback who's just in it for the paycheck. Like, he cares. Like, he legitimately cares, and he wants to bring a championship to this team, to this fan base, to everyone to his teammates, to everyone in this organization. And that's what that's revealing. So again, I'm taking my time with this thing. Probably not going to binge watch it. Actually, we're going to be at undisclosed location, so maybe we'll just burn through a couple episodes. But I don't know. Like, I'm looking forward. I can't wait to see the Bills game. I can't wait to see the Colts game. I can't wait to see the second Giants game. So there you go. But that's it. Your thoughts on our thoughts. A review of episode 1 of Quarterback. Only the Kirk Cousins parts. Who cares about Mariota and Mahomes? But let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull Production Value.